Hello, everybody. Today I will share a new story with you. The storyteller is called Shuangcheng. He comes from Xuzhou, a city of Jiangsu province, which is about 150 kilometers away from Donghai, known as the Crystal City of China, where I am currently located. I've visited this city several times. It's a modern city with a history of over 2,000 years. Its airport named Guanyin Airport after the Guanyin Buddha, which is quite unique, and this city is famous for their delicious barbecue and lamb dishes too. The story took place in the year 2012 and involved Shuangcheng and some friends who went out for a trip. In the spring of 2012, Shuangcheng and a few friends planned a weekend getaway to a nearby Xuzhou area. They finally found a weekend when all six of them, four men and two women, had time and set off for a spring outing near Xuzhou. One of the friends had been to a village in Pei County, under the jurisdiction of Xuzhou, and strongly recommended visiting this village for its beautiful scenery, fewer tourists, friendly locals, delicious and affordable food, and it's close, just a 2-hour drive away. Since this friend was experienced in traveling and trusted, they decided to make this village their destination. On the weekend, the six friends gathered, taking two cars, and set off at 8 a.m. The friend who suggested the village wasn't familiar with the way and had to rely on navigation. However, the navigation of 2012 was not as advanced as today's, where everyone has a map app on their phones. After exiting the highway, they drew a long way, including a stretch on a rural path, before finally reaching the village. Shuangcheng was in a second car, and although finding the way was troublesome, no one was in a hurry because the scenery along the way was stunning. They passed the fields of wheat and vast rapeseed fields with no end in sight, stretching to the distant hills. The wheat fields were a lush green, and the rapeseed was a vibrant yellow, all under a clear blue sky with white clouds. The weather was particularly good, and the beauty of the scene under the sunlight was breathtaking. Shuangcheng sat in a corner, enjoying himself, constantly looking out on both sides. Dear friends, if you have been working and living in a city for many years, rushing to and from work every day without having seen such scenery, you would be equally captivated by it. So even though the road was not easy to drive, no one felt annoyed. Everyone was marveling at how truly beautiful the scenery along the way was. It was stunningly beautiful. When they arrived at the village entrance, everyone got out of the car and rushed to take photos in a rapeseed field. Although the place wasn't famous for mountains or rivers, the slow-paced stroll brought great satisfaction to everyone. Shuangcheng said, after living in the city for a long time, seeing this beautiful scenery, all the family and work pressures and unhappiness all gone. Life is just a poetry and distant places. They set off at 8 a.m. and spent 3 hours on the way, which was already noon, so they laid out a mat and a big tree, took out the snacks and drinks they brought, and had lunch there. Everyone praised the friend who recommended the place, saying it was fantastic. The friend said, let's eat something, and then we'll go into the village. The scenery inside the village is different. Everyone chatted and laughed happily. After lunch, the six of them went into the village together. The village was small. The buildings were not luxurious. All the houses had grey tiles, white walls, and clean, small, and exquisite rectangle yards. What made everyone happier was that the villagers smiled and greeted them warmly when they saw strangers entering the village. Shuangcheng said, "Why didn't we come earlier? This place is great. It's just like the village in Taoyuanming's The Peach Blossom Spring." Let me explain. This is a famous article known to everyone in China because it is on our textbook, written by Tao Yuanming, describing a fisherman who, at the end of a small river under a mountain, found a narrow cave under a peach blossom forest and discovered a village after passing through it. The villagers warmly entertained the fisherman and asked what dynasty it was. These people were from the Qin dynasty, hiding in the mountains to avoid the chaos of war. The village in a story is like this: not big, exquisite, beautiful, people inside living a simple, happy, and carefree life. The six people wandered around the village for a while and met an old man who was over 70 years old and slightly hunched over. The old man was also very happy to see them, took the initiative to say hello and asked if they were from the city to play. Then the group chatted with the old man, who was very talkative, and everyone had a great time chatting. Suddenly, Shuangcheng heard the sound of a sona. It is a traditional Chinese musical instrument from afar, which seemed to be coming from the other side of the village. The music was also very cheerful, and everyone asked what the sound was. The old man said that someone had passed away at the south end of the village, and the family was holding a funeral today. It turned out that people here still keep this tradition. When someone passes away, they sing operas, which is also very common, and there are still such customs in many places in China. At this time, the old man said, "Come on, I'll take you to see it." The young people were taken aback. Originally, they came to see the scenery and have fun. They haven't had enough fun in such a beautiful place, and the old man wanted to take them to see the funeral. The old man still invited them to see it, and they were embarrassed to refuse directly, thinking about saying it doesn't matter anyway. The old man said, "We have rules for handling funeral affairs here. When someone in a family passes away, the family will invite an opera troupe to perform. Every household in a village will come to watch the opera, but when they arrived at the scene, they cannot make a sound, they cannot talk, and they cannot ask anything. They can only watch quietly." Shuangcheng and the others did not find it very strange. After all, it's a funeral, and it must be solemn. It's definitely wrong for participants to chat and laugh. So everyone followed the old man to the funeral site. Shuangcheng watched silently there and found something he did not understand. Number one, the temporary shed built above the coffin actually had two black and white photos of the dead, which is usually just one. Could it be that two people have died? Upon closer inspection, it wasn't, because the two photos were exactly the same. They were all little girls with braids. Number two, the yard of this house was full of little paper-made human figure cut from white paper, pulled up by steel wire in the air. Many such little paper human figures, and they were all little girls, and they were connected one by another, just like two little girls holding hands. Braids connected to braids, which was a bit eerie. What was even more eerie was that the paper human figure had their mouth cut out, looking like they were smiling. Shuancheng felt strange. It's a funeral. Why make a bunch of little paper human figures with smiling faces? It's a bit discordant, but Shuancheng thought it must be the local people's rule. Very curious, but couldn't ask. Before chatting with the old man, it was already 3 o'clock, and now following him to watch the opera cost a lot of time. Shuancheng looked at the time, and it was almost 6 o'clock, and the sky was getting a bit dark. The group discussed and decided it was getting late and it was time to go back. They told the old man they were leaving, but the old man said, "No, no, 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 no. You've come so far and you haven't eaten yet. You can't just leave like this. Come on, come home with me. I'll make you our local delicacy, stir-fried chicken." Shuancheng and the others wanted to refuse. He said, "It's too late, uncle, and we're afraid the road will be hard to find at night." The old man said, "No, you must eat before you can leave. I'll take you to the highway entrance at night." Everyone felt they couldn't refuse, so they followed the old man home. His family consisted of only 2 people, him and his wife, and their children were working in the city and not at home. When the old lady saw her hubby bring back 6 young people, she was also very happy. She made good tea, took out the nuts, and went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Soon, several dishes were ready, and she also made a stir-fried chicken, which was really delicious, along with a few vegetables. Although they were just simple, home-cooked dishes, they were all very delicious. The old man was very happy and opened a bottle of wine. 6 people, except for the 2 drivers. The other 4 accompanied the old man to drink some wine. The old man was very happy to talk to the young people about many of his own experiences and stories in the past. And before they knew it, it was almost 11 o'clock. When Shuancheng and the others saw the time, they told the old couple, "We really appreciate your hospitality, but it's too late. We have to go. If we have the chance in future, we'll definitely come to visit you again." The old man had drunk too much, and his speech was not clear. He said, "Are you leaving? I'll take you to the highway entrance." After speaking, he was about to stand up, but it was obvious that he had too much wine, and he was unsteady when standing. The young people took out money to give to the old lady, but she would not accept it at all. "Having a meal at my own home, how can I accept money? I also hope you will come often." In the end, she still did not want it, and the 6 people definitely couldn't sleep at their house. There were not enough rooms, and there were no hotels nearby. And it was 11 o'clock at this time, and there was no way to find a neighbor's houses to arrange rooms. So the old lady was very sorry and felt embarrassed, sending the 6 people to the parking spot. They got in a car, and it was pitch black outside. There is a Chinese saying that you cannot see your fingers when you stretch out your hands, which is this kind of dark, and there was no light source nearby except for the car lights. The villagers go to bed early, and the lights were turned off early. The six could only turn on the navigation and recall the road they came in the morning, driving slowly. The scenery was so gorgeous when they came during the day, but now there was only a little light where the car lights shone, and the rest was pitch black. After driving for 40 minutes, the cars were still on the rural path, and the atmosphere in the car became more and more tense. Everyone in the car tried to look outside, hoping to find a road sign or some signs to know where they were. Suddenly, the friend who was driving said, "Did you see it?" His voice trembled, and Shuangcheng asked, "Say what?" "Look ahead." "Look ahead." Two children. Shuangcheng tried to look, and in a place where the lights could barely shine, there were two small shadows. They couldn't see clearly, but they could see two children walking side by side. The car was driving very slowly, and it seemed that the two children were walking faster than the car. Shuangcheng, who was on the passenger's seat, shouted, "Turn on the high beam." The driver did it immediately, and the four people in the car saw it clearly, and no one dared to speak. The temperature in the car seemed to drop to freezing point. Yeah, it is making some noise. So, what did they say? The backs of two little girls, exactly the same backs, exactly the same braids, hand in hand, braid connected to braid, walking on a dark rural path at midnight. Normally, when we walk on the road, if a car light shone from behind, we will all look back to see what's going on behind us, and then step aside to let the car pass. But the two girls just walked like that, without turning their heads, at a constant speed. No one in the car spoke, and everyone thought that this is the white paper made girl figure they saw at the funeral. Suddenly, the friend who was driving switched to the low beam, then stepped on the accelerator to speed up. When he reached the left side of the two little girls and slightly turned the steering wheel to the left, the car overtook the two little girls quickly. No one dared to look back, staring and driving straight ahead. After a while, the friend who was driving looked in the mirror to make sure the second car had also come up. Not long after going further, they actually saw the entrance to the highway. The few people were relieved, and they all got out of the cars and began to discuss. What were they discussing? Everyone. At midnight, the two little girls looked less than 10 years old, walking on a pitch black rural path. Is there any reasonable explanation? What do you think? In the end, everyone agreed no. They saw ghosts. The six people got in the cars and got on the highway quickly and drove home at full speed. Shuangcheng later told me. In fact, this was originally an ordinary trip. The first half was very beautiful, but the end was extremely thrilling, especially when we saw the little girls. It was really terrifying. In the end, the friends did not encounter any more strange things. Well, this is the end of today's story. So, do you have any idea that why they were doing the funeral like that? And please share what you think of this story and your stories. Thank you, everybody. This is Alex's story time, and I am Alex. I got a lot of good stories to share with you. Thank you. Bye bye.